Fierce clashes in northern Gaza claimed the lives of 2 Israeli Defense Forces (IDF) soldiers early this morning, with another sustaining serious injuries, according to a military statement. The incident occurred amid heightened confrontations between Israeli troops and Hamas fighters in the volatile Beit Lahiya region. The fallen soldiers were identified as Captain Yogev Pazi, 22, from Givot Bar, and Staff Sergeant Noam Eitan, 21, from Hadera. Both were members of the KFIR Brigade's Nashon Battalion, with Captain Pazi serving as a platoon commander. Their deaths highlight the escalating risks Israeli forces face as they deepen their ground operations in Gaza. An initial IDF investigation revealed that the casualties resulted from a direct exchange of fire with Hamas operatives entrenched in northern Gaza. The confrontation underscores the complex urban warfare environment, where Hamas fighters exploit the dense urban terrain to challenge Israeli advancements. A third soldier, also from the Nashon Battalion, was gravely wounded in the same encounter and is receiving medical treatment. The northern Gaza Strip has been a critical focus for Israel's military operations as part of its broader campaign against Hamas. Over recent weeks, Beit Lahiya has seen intense fighting, with Israeli forces targeting Hamas strongholds, tunnel networks, and weapons depots. Despite these efforts, Hamas has demonstrated resilience, employing guerrilla tactics, including ambushes, to inflict losses on Israeli troops. Israeli military analysts describe the incident as a stark reminder of the challenges inherent in urban combat, particularly against a well-entrenched adversary like Hamas. Reports from the Times of Israel suggest that Hamas fighters in northern Gaza have significantly fortified their positions, leveraging underground bunkers and an extensive tunnel system to launch coordinated attacks. The deaths of Pazi and Eitan have resonated deeply within Israel, where their names have been added to a growing list of soldiers lost in the ongoing conflict. Captain Pazi and Staff Sergeant Eitan embodied courage and commitment, an IDF spokesperson said, emphasizing the dedication of those fighting in challenging conditions. The international community has been closely monitoring the situation in Gaza, with humanitarian organizations raising concerns about the escalating toll on both military personnel and civilians. Meanwhile, Israel remains steadfast in its objectives, vowing to dismantle Hamas's military infrastructure despite the mounting human cost. Observers, including Haaretz, point out that the urban terrain of northern Gaza presents unique challenges, with Hamas leveraging familiarity with the environment to outmaneuver Israeli forces. This strategic advantage has resulted in frequent close-quarters combat, where the risk of casualties is significantly heightened. Critics of Israel's campaign have called for renewed ceasefire efforts to stem the violence, but Israeli officials maintain that operations will continue until Hamas's ability to threaten Israel is neutralized. In the meantime, incidents like the one in Beit Lahiya are expected to persist as both sides remain locked in a deadly struggle. The broader context of the conflict further complicates the situation, with international powers divided on how to respond. The U.S. has reiterated its support for Israel's right to self-defense while urging measures to minimize civilian casualties. In contrast, regional actors like Iran have continued to express solidarity with Hamas, deepening tensions across the Middle East. As the conflict intensifies, the loss of young soldiers like Pazi and Eitan brings into focus the immense sacrifices made by those on the front lines. Their deaths are a somber reminder of the human cost of war, even as strategic objectives dominate headlines and political discourse.